Good morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm Tiana Xavier.
And I'm Tommy Kane. We start today with unfolding news. On Sunday, New York's annual burning brush ban was initiated.
The ban lasts through May 14 in an effort to decrease the risk of wildfires. This comes just a week after New York State Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency due to wildfires on the coast of Long Island. The fires affected parts of New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey. New York State Police Office and Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation and other departments have worked to contain and repair the situation. St. Patrick's Day may have been on a Monday, but the International Student Association kept the celebration going Thursday night at Bingo. Students were invited to take part in the game to win fun St. Patrick's Day and Siena-themed prizes.
We now go to SCTV's Matt Coloma, who had the opportunity to sit down with a history professor to learn the history behind the holiday and the saint.
I recently had the chance to cover Albany's St. Patrick's Day Parade for SCTV Live at 7. The parade showed that Albany does in fact have a tight-knit community, one that shares a common love for St. Patrick. However, I was left wondering, what about St. Patrick? And what about the Irish history of Albany? In order to learn more, I had a quick costume change and headed back to Siena College to talk to Dr. Karen Sunlitter. And I'm now joined here by Dr. Sunlitter, Irish expert, I'd say.
I'm a historian of Ireland.
Okay, so
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
First off, thoughts on the fit?
The nice sweater, right?
Okay.
So,
yeah. Coles.
Okay, there
Yeah.
you go. But sort of copying a little bit of an Aran Island sweater design, I think.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, and then the cap is, I think, meant to be a flat cap, right?
Yes.
Should really be wool, though, Matthew. That's okay.
All right, well, what do you know?
That's all right. You're
all right.
Yeah.
Apparently, quite a bit. Let's talk about Ireland now. Okay. All right, so why don't you tell me just a little bit about the history of St. Patrick's Day to start off?
Sure. Well, so St. Patrick was a real person. He was a 5th century missionary. He was not born in Ireland. He was a Roman Briton who was kidnapped into slavery by Irish raiders when he was about 16 years old. And after 6 years in slavery in Ireland, he escaped and returns to his family, trains as a priest. And he writes in his confessions that he began to experience prophetic visions, which told him to return to Ireland and to preach Christianity to the people there. So that's what he did. And that's all in like the 400s. He's said to have died on March 17th, 461, which is why March 17th is his feast day.
Patrick's Day. Look at that. That's incredibly interesting stuff. That's awesome. So specifically Albany, what is the history of Irish culture in Albany? How did Albany get to be so Irish?
Yeah, well, so Albany gets to be really Irish during the mid-19th century. That's actually when a lot of America becomes very Irish. There was always a small Irish population in the American colonies from the 16 and 1700s. The first St. Patrick's Day celebrations in what becomes the United States are in like the 1730s. But in the mid-19th century, there's a famine in Ireland, and it leads to, well, over 1 million people having to flee the country, and many of them wind up going to, well, the United States. And they kind of wind up going to major East Coast cities where ships drop them off. New York was a major point of departure, and then it's a pretty quick ride up the Hudson from New York to Albany. So a lot of Irish immigrants from the mid-19th century, for about 100 years following that, settle in these urban areas in the United States. Albany offered jobs and opportunities, particularly when they're building the Erie Canal. The Erie Canal was a job opportunity for a lot of poor Irish immigrants.
Awesome, awesome. So I would just love to learn more about Irish history. Is there anything you'd recommend that I do?
Well, Albany does have an Irish Heritage Museum. The Irish American Heritage Museum was actually founded to celebrate Irish American culture and the history of Irish Americans in the United States, and it's in downtown Albany. Yeah, you can find it just down by the Old English Pub. A little ironically, it's right by the Old English Pub.
We're going back to Albany then, right? Is that pretty much what I'm hearing, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Okay. All right. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Great talking with you. We'll see you in Albany. And I'm now here outside the Irish American Heritage Museum, where I'm about to go inside and get more in touch with the Irish roots of the city. Upon my entry into the museum, I was greeted with countless Irish relics and artifacts. I learned to lead an orchestra, made a new friend, became a shepherd, experimented with my fashion sense, but got to learn about Ireland's rich history in the city of Albany. And if you want to visit the Irish American Heritage Museum in Albany, the hours are Wednesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. For Morning Brew, I'm Matt Coloma.
America's Got Talent third place finalist Ryan Niemiller brought laughter to Siena last night, helping students unwind during midterm season. The nearly packed SSU show was organized by the Student Events Board.
The Student Events Board will continue to bring entertainment to campus, so be sure to keep an eye out on Saints Connect for all the events. Last Friday was Siena's Friar Fest. Siena's collected at the SSU for this fun event, and Jake Salvi will be there to show us all the fun.
This past Saturday, Siena hosted their first Friar Fest, the perfect place for food, fun, and community.
To the Siena community, I believe it means a great deal. We are a small Franciscan Catholic college, and a lot of our students here do participate in the Catholic faith, and even those who don't get really excited to spend time with our friars.
Events like these are helping to create meaningful connections with everyone here on campus, and as you can clearly hear behind me, the students aren't afraid to get up and out on stage. The brave Saints who got up on stage had a blast singing karaoke all night long. However, students are able to get so much more out of coming to these events than just showing off their singing voice.
Coming to events like these, our students here, they get to meet new people, they get to learn about students from different backgrounds, from different majors from theirs.
I think sometimes I remember when I was a student, and one of the great moments in my life was having a chance to informally interact with my faculty.
And informally interact with the faculty they did. Everywhere you looked, the friars were talking, eating with, and getting to know the students of Siena better, fully making the most of the first ever Friar Fest.
I am super excited. I love the friars here, especially Father Dan. He's my favorite.
And whether the students were interacting with the faculty or just among friends, everyone was definitely enjoying themselves. The Maloney Great Room was full of saintly energy, because that's just what you get when hanging out with the friars. And here's something for those of you wondering how to get in on the fun.
There's some that are more, the people work in the Laudato Si Center, for example, sponsor different events that are going on. Some of the friars are involved in different clubs. The friars are involved in academics. Of course, you can take a class.
And these events on campus take a lot of planning, so make sure to go to them whenever they're available, as well as taking up Father Dan on the clubs and classes offer.
It takes a lot of thought ahead of time, I think, to begin with, and then it takes the cooperation of all the people who have to come up with the food, the entertainment. There's just different aspects of it that all have to come together.
Those efforts are not going to waste. Whether you came for the free shirt, the free food, or the free time with the friars, you are guaranteed a great way to spend your night. Reporting from Loudonville with the Morning Brew, I'm Jake Salvi.
Iftar is the time of breaking fast during the month of Ramadan. The Muslim Student Association brought in Dave's Hot Chicken to break fast on Tuesday night. The Muslim Student Association will also have their annual Serenity at Sunset event tonight at Masri.
Looking for an on-campus job? Well, you're in luck. Siena is currently hiring peer career advisors. Quote, applications opened on Wednesday and will remain open until April 11th. Thursday night, Siena honored the generosity of many donors at the Green and Gold Gratitude Dinner.
This event was created as a way to celebrate and thank those that have made a difference for the Siena community. Guests got to share their Siena experiences and witness the impact donor support makes across the campus, making this a new Siena tradition to remember. Keeping with the theme of giving, Thursday was also Siena's annual Giving Day. Amber Fisher has more on this tradition.
While enjoying the beautiful weather in Nigro Plaza, Saints came together to celebrate Giving Day. Students wrote over 150 thank you notes to alumni and other donors, thanking them for all that they do for the Siena community.
Most of our donors are alumni and the people that live in the local community. So the connection to the students currently on campus, to the alumni that were here 5, 10, 15, 60 years ago is really important. Keeps people connected, keeps people attached to Siena, and always keep those Siena experiences in their head.
Between financial aid, athletics, and facilities, the Siena that we know and love exists thanks to these donations, and students are able to celebrate the community that stands behind them.
Today we're here on the quad because it is, for our students today, we are giving away, raffling off Siena Fest concert tickets. So we're raffling off 3 tickets. We also had 50 shirts that were gone in about 15 minutes, which is fantastic. So that's what's going on today here with us.
Giving Day is more than just a fundraiser, and it reminds everyone that being a part of the Siena community does not end at graduation. And the Siena donors are not the only ones giving today. The Siena's Gay Straight Alliance Club is passing out flowers just here in the quad. Continuing the spread of generosity on campus, students lined up to build their own bouquets and grab a pride flag cookie. At the heart of GSA is a mission of inclusivity, and this event gave students the chance to create something beautiful. The tables were lined with fresh flowers to mix and match to take home or give to a friend. A single flower can bring someone a smile, but a whole bouquet will make their day. And here at Siena, kindness and community are always in bloom. Reporting live from Loudonville with the Morning Brew, I'm Amber Fisher.
Coming up, Tiana talks to the Senior Director of the Bowman Center for Women to talk about what Siena does to celebrate Women's History Month. We'll also discuss an Apple TV favorite making a return, an SNL favorite suffering from food poisoning, and the latest in the Sean Diddy Combs case.
We will also be learning how to draw alongside a Siena art student, so stick with us. Welcome back. I'm joined today with Donna Bradbury, the Senior Director of the Mission Office and the Sister Thea Bowman Center for Women. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I want to talk about the Bowman Center for Women, but before we get into that, I want to ask you about your journey in being the Senior Director and what kind of drew you to this position.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. So first and foremost, I'm a Siena grad, class of 1990.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was a psych major here, and I went on to go to graduate school. After I graduated from Siena, I went to Sage Graduate School, and then I had a career for many years in mental health and in government. So I worked for county government first, and then I transitioned to state government, where I was an executive leader in children's mental health. And I actually retired from that work a couple of years ago. And just in sort of a serendipitous way, I ended up finding out about the Women's Center at Siena, which didn't exist when I was a student here.
Wow.
But I found out about it, and the woman who was running it was leaving to go on to pursue other things. And I really felt called to that work to do something different and to give back to Siena and the students.
You're very well-rounded. I love it. And for those not familiar, can you explain exactly what the Bowman Center for Women does and the impact you guys have for the Siena community?
Absolutely. So I serve as the director of the center. It's really student-run. So I have a lot of students that either work for me or volunteer their time. And I look to them for ideas and things that are of interest to Siena students that relate to women's issues. We sort of focus on 3 main areas. One is health and wellness, specifically as it pertains to women. So for example, we offer weekly yoga classes each semester that everybody is welcome to attend. We also feature particular health issues like maybe breast cancer awareness or women's heart health, because women's heart health, for example, looks fundamentally different in women than it does in men.
Okay.
And so we just raise awareness about issues like that related to health and wellness. We also focus broadly on peace and justice, which can be a lot of different things, but of course we really focus on women's rights. Sometimes we look to global issues where women may be really actively fighting for their rights. But of course, we have some of those issues here in the States as well. And so there's plenty to talk about under the peace and justice heading. And then in terms of broader issues, we also do a lot of partnering with some of the other offices in the mission office that we work closely with. And for example, climate change is one of our favorite topics because people might not know that worldwide, women and children are inordinately affected by climate change. So we're just looking to raise awareness. Yes.
That's very important. And in your experience, what are some of the most significant challenges that women may face, not only on a college campus, but in society in general?
Yeah, well, I think in many ways, we've come a long way over the past, like in my lifetime, for example, in terms of women's rights. But there's still a lot of inequities. We hear a lot about, for example, the glass ceiling, where women across the board don't earn as much as women do. Women struggle with things to keep their families safe and, for example, access to child care, access to health care. So there's a lot of really important issues that women are, fighting against. And I think sometimes maybe students don't realize how it was, for example, in my lifetime that women couldn't get a credit card in their own name until about 1974
and that's
so.
Just crazy to think
and
about.
That's crazy to think about. And so we don't want to take those rights for granted. So we primarily raise awareness of those types of issues.
We're constantly in a changing world.
Yes, for sure.
And are there specific initiatives or programs at the BCFW that you believe are making an impact in advancing women's rights and opportunities?
So one thing that I want to point out in terms of upcoming events, but I'm really flubbing that up.
You're okay.
But so an upcoming event that I would like people to know about is the Women-Owned Business Fair, which is coming up this Sunday, March 23rd.
Awesome.
And that is one of our premier events because it's really supporting women-owned businesses and hopefully inspiring students, particularly female students, that if they have entrepreneurial dreams, that they can pursue those dreams because they'll have role models at this business fair.
That's awesome.
So we're very much, trying to support this idea of, inspiring students and letting them see that anything is possible really for them.
Awesome. And do you mind telling us where this will be and the time?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So Sunday, March 23rd in the Maloney Great Room in the Saracen Student Union from noon to 3. And it'll be a vendor fair and there'll be food and prizes. But most of all, it's an opportunity for students and others to network with successful women entrepreneurs. Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
And as a leader in women's empowerment, what advice would you give to young women entering college now?
Wow, there's so much, but I think my biggest piece of advice for young women entering college would be to not take their opportunities for granted, to really understand that a lot of women worked really hard for today's students to have the opportunities that they now have. And that's not automatically a given all the time. And so don't take that for granted and to use the opportunities that are presented to you and to look to women maybe that have more experience or a little bit older to guide them and to give them advice. Really be open to that guidance and advice. I think that's important. I think it's something that I didn't necessarily do enough of when I was younger.
Right.
That if I could go back and do it again, I would seek that advice and guidance more often.
Exactly, and I completely agree with you. And looking ahead, what are some of your goals for the Bowman Center over the next few years, if you have an idea?
Yeah, mostly things like this are really helpful because one of my biggest goals is to raise the awareness of the center.
Right.
I still encounter students that didn't know or don't know that we have a women's center, even though we show up for all the club fairs and we try to be out and about and throw events that are popular. It's hard to get the word out there. Students are busy. There's a lot going on campus. So I think that's at the top of my list, is just to make sure everybody knows that we have a women's center, and everybody's welcome. That it's not only for women.
Right. So that goes to my next question. How do students how are they able to join the Bowman Center? Since you said everybody's welcome.
Just show up. So my office is in Hines Hall near the chapel. And really just drop in. We have an Instagram account that's Siena Women Center. Follow us on Instagram because we announce all of our meetings and all of our events on Instagram.
I love that.
Yeah.
And the last question that I have for you, because I want to ask you because I think it's super important for the Siena community to know, what do you want the Siena community to take away from the work and the mission that you guys do at the Bowman Center for Women?
I think the big takeaway is really about respect.
Right.
And that goes across all the mission office programs. It's really about respecting individuals and really living our Franciscan values that include, honoring the individual and having respect for each and every person, as well as all of creation. It's just really, that's kind of at the bottom line for whether you're talking about women's issues or anything else. It's really about having respect for one another and having empathy and understanding where people come from. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. This is very eye-opening, and I hope the Siena community really takes this into account because what you guys do is super, super important.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Remember, this is Donna Bradbury at Siena College for the Bowman Center for Women. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Here's what's going on in the entertainment world this week. At the end of the third quarter of the Knicks game Monday night, Tracy Morgan suffered a health incident on the court. According to doctors have said that he suffered from food poisoning. In a message on his Instagram, Morgan said, quote, "Appreciate my MSG family for taking such good care of me, and I need to shout out the crew that had to clean that up. More importantly, the Knicks are now 1-0 when I throw up on the court, so maybe I'll have to break it out again in the playoffs. Hashtag go Knicks," end quote. Sean Diddy Combs was back in court on Friday where he pleaded not guilty to additional allegations related to the racketeering conspiracy charge against him. The new allegations were included in a superseding indictment unsealed earlier this month. No new charges were brought about against Combs. Prosecutors allege he forced an employee to engage in sex acts while threatening others if they did not help him carry out a 2-decade-long sex trafficking scheme. Combs has previously pleaded not guilty to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Jury selection is set to begin May 5th, and opening statements are expected to begin a week later. Recent stage musicals have featured the music of Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, and The Temptations, among others. Now, another well-known artist is joining that list. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Ain't I gone to Carolina again, my mind?
James Taylor's classic songs are headed to the stage. Fire and Rain, a new musical featuring the iconic singer-songwriter's catalog, is being developed by Pulitzer Prize and Tony-winning author Tracy Letts, with Tony winner David Cromer set to direct.
We had to use our imagination.
It's not his imagination. Deadline reports Scott Eastwood is joining the cast of Regretting You, based on the best-selling novel by Colleen Hoover. The drama is due in theaters October 24th.
Riders are at the line, awaiting that starting flag. Last chance to qualify.
Here's a blast from the past. Thursday is 2025 Rad Day. Fathom Entertainment and Utopia are re-releasing Hal Needham's 80s BMX cult classic Rad. This year's annual screenings include the never-before-seen A Rad documentary. More info and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com. Practicing my bunny hop in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Good news for Ted Lasso fans. The Emmy-winning comedy is back for a 4th season. The return comes nearly 2 years after season 3 wrapped up. Jason Sudeikis is back to reprise his role as the lovable UK-based football coach. Sudeikis, in a podcast interview, said he'll be coaching a women's team this time around, and he'll continue to serve as an executive producer and code show developer. The full cast roster hasn't been announced yet, nor has an exact air date for the new season. The MLB season kicked off this week with a series between the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers in Tokyo, Japan. The games feature 5 players of Japanese descent, with two-way star Shohei Ohtani at the forefront. Ohtani's trip home has shown how deep Japan's baseball fandom runs, with fans going as far as dressing up as Ohtani's dog.
Ohtani's very handsome, isn't he? But he got married. That was unfortunate.
Oh my, I'd be delighted if Ohtani ever sees me. But I've heard some people say it doesn't look that cute, so I'm sort of regretting not making the outfit a little cuter. But I did what I could.
March Madness is up and running, and most likely your bracket is already busted. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan breaks down the odds of picking a perfect bracket.
It's something that's never been done, according to the NCAA, picking a perfect bracket. Think you can bust that statistic this year? The odds of picking all 64 games correctly is 1 in, yeah, that's a lot of numbers, 9.2 quintillion. But if you know a little bit about basketball, your odds are better. 1 in 120.2 billion, according to the NCAA. Despite those despicable odds, the NCAA says 60 to 100 million brackets are filled out every year. And typically they're free, so anyone can do it, making it even more fun to participate.
It's the underdogs who will win the games. It's the unknown. It's the pace of the games. It's a action-packed 3 weeks.
Lori Kalani with sports betting website DraftKings says they see a surge in business during March Madness.
It's an extremely busy time of year.
The American Gaming Association estimates Americans will legally wager $3.1 billion on the men's and women's college basketball tournaments this year. That's up from $2.7 billion last year. Sports betting is now legal in 39 states, and it's become a multi-billion-dollar industry and continues to grow.
Certainly the smartphones have made everything more accessible, but with technology have come great opportunities to really play responsibly.
Kalani says DraftKings has tools to help players set limits and budgets on their bets. March is also National Problem Gambling Awareness Month, a reminder to gamble responsibly. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
When we come back, we'll examine the various pieces of furniture thrown from the Heinz Hall windows and vending machines and elevators on this week's edition of What's Fizzin'. Plus, Joe Lemery takes us to the Black Student Union on this week's edition of Join the Club. Plus, I can't even read my own handwriting, so we put our drawing skills to the test with Siena art students. Welcome back. Today we are joined by a Siena art student named Mary Peartree, and today we're going to go over some basic drawing techniques, and hopefully by the end of it, I'll learn how to draw a house. So, anyways, guys, have you guys drawn houses before? Tiana, any thoughts?
I have. It's probably not as great as Mary's, but we're gonna learn some skills today.
So, what would be the secrets to actually being able to draw a house? Because I struggle to write my name and read it sometimes. So, what's the best possible way for me to be able to draw this house?
Well, today we're going to focus on just two things, perspective and some shading. And we're going to go step by step, take it easy, and we'll get to the final product.
All right. Do we want to grab some of the stuff and just sort of get ready here? This is high quality stuff.
This is high quality, baby.
Thank you.
And you guys are each going to get a ruler to help us with some straight lines.
Perfect. This will help a lot, I bet.
I'm gonna make a greenhouse.
Okay, beautiful.
I'll do blue. Let's see. All right. Got a color. That's a great start.
So, we're going to start with our horizon line. This is going to help us with perspective. So it's just a straight line across the page. So
gotcha.
We'll start really easy. Just right through the middle. Perfect, beautiful, awesome. And then you're going to put 2 dots on each end of the line. This is going to be for perspective purposes. Beautiful, and then another straight line, nice easy step next, but this way this time. And it's not going to go across the whole page. It's going to be smaller, just about like that.
In the middle?
Yes, right in the middle.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Or a little off center is fine.
Perfect. Oh, yep, I'm a little off center.
Yeah, that's okay. Off center. Okay, so now you're going to connect some lines. So you're going to connect the top of your middle line to the dot on the left and then to the dot on the right.
Okay.
Gotcha. So is this going to be my roof?
This is going to be the walls.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty.
Ah, perspective, I see.
Yes. So then you're going to do the same thing, but connecting the bottom of this middle line to each dot on the side.
Gotcha.
This is not how I was expecting it would go. So it should like look like a diamond?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
So this is kind of our like foundational outline. Now we're going to start shaping the house. So we're going to draw 2 lines on either side and kind of just up on that side, and it can be however far apart you want. That determines the size of the house. So anywhere along those lines, just a vertical line right in between those last lines we just drew.
Lovely.
Beautiful. So this, you can kind of see, like if you block off right here, we kind of have like a cube forming.
Yeah.
So this is our house, starting to get built up here. So would you guys like to do doors or roof next?
Let's do the roof next.
Okay, so the roof is hard.
Okay.
But it'll be fine. So we're gonna do like a triangle roof that kind of goes like this, if you can imagine like that. So we're gonna start by putting just a dot, kind of if you can imagine the middle of these 2 lines, but up above it.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
And then we're gonna start to just build our roof down. So we're gonna make this kind of triangular shape. So upside down triangle like this, and it's gonna go down that way. This is where it starts to get a little complicated. And make sure you connect to that dot you just drew there.
So I'm gonna go down and like a little past. Gotcha. And then the next one, I'm going like upside down triangle. Something like that.
Yeah,
All right.
perfect. Well done,
Perfect.
well done. So then you're gonna take the top of your triangle, and then you're gonna connect it to the far dot on this side.
Oh, okay.
And then that is the top of our roof. Nice.
something.
Yeah, it's looking great so far, guys. You're doing a great job. So then you're going to take the bottom of this line on the right, this triangle line, and then connect it to that same dot on the side.
I'm starting to see it.
Yeah? Can you start to see it? How about you?
It's sort of coming along.
That's okay.
I think.
Very nice. All set there. And then you can kind of close off your roof. So you can draw kind of like we did these vertical lines here. You can do another one kind of on this side. And that will just be the end of your roof. Does that make any sense?
Kinda.
Yeah. So, just like that. So, it's kind of diagonal at that end of the house right there.
Okay.
Draw a line. Yeah, you don't really need to use a ruler if you don't want to. It's a short line, yeah.
There we go.
Very nice.
All right, coming along now.
Coming along, yeah. So, how about we add a front door then?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so on this left side of the house, right here, we're going to just add 2 vertical lines, just wherever you want, starting at the bottom edge of the house and then up past the horizon line there.
Like from here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
From this edge of the house.
Okay.
The bottom. There you go. Yeah.
And then another one right here.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Well done. And then, so again, we're relying on these dots on the side. These are perspective points. So you connect the ruler to it, and then wherever you want the top of the door to be, you're going to draw a line across right there, and that kind of cuts off the top of our door.
I think I may need to make my door higher.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, sometimes it takes some adjusting.
I think I'm adjusted the best I can so far at this point, so we'll take it. So what would you say was one of the main reasons why you chose to come to Siena?
Yeah, so I had toured a lot of colleges, looked at a lot of them around, and coming onto this campus, it was where I felt most at home already. It was so welcoming, and the campus was beautiful, and everybody was out and just really enjoying themselves, and I could really see myself being here.
Oh yeah, for sure, especially with the whole outside, especially now, it makes a lot of sense why there's so many tours always going on. And would you say when you were visiting, was art one of the major things you were looking at when you were visiting?
Yes.
Or did it sort of come along when you got here? Or did it grow more when you got here?
Both, actually.
Okay.
It was definitely a big factor of deciding to come here and looking at schools. I was thinking about going to art school.
Okay.
At some point, but I thought maybe some more other classes and options might be a good idea. So
yeah, explore a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I picked here. They had a lot of other classes I wanted to take, but also a really promising art program, and I'm really happy with where I'm at.
Within the art program, what sort of classes stand out as ones that you would consider to be more of your favorites throughout the year? And were there any that immediately you just like sort of latched onto and was like, this is awesome, I really enjoy taking this one?
Yeah, all of my art classes have been really informative and helpful. One of the best ones I took was actually Business of Art, and that was just really helpful and a different perspective. And we didn't do any actual creative art, but it was very helpful for talking about a career and future business in art.
Okay.
But yeah, everyone that I've taken, drawing classes, painting, photography, graphic design, they've all been just really fun, and I've enjoyed all of them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never heard of business art before.
Yeah. Oh, it was really cool. It was a really fun class.
That's awesome.
And whenever you'd like to, you're welcome to add like trees or grass or any other decorations.
Perfect.
You feel
Get
like.
the scenery
Yes,
going.
yeah, build the environment a little bit, yeah.
So what has been like your favorite art piece you think you've made?
It was probably one I did a few years ago. This was a personal project one, and it was submitted for a show in Rochester in my hometown. And there's a big museum and art gallery, and they were doing a big show that was just open to anyone to submit. And it was the first real art show I'd been a part of, and I was really lucky. And then somebody bought the piece, so it was very, very special to me.
That is incredible. So do you set the price, or does the art show?
Yeah, the artist sets the price. You kind of base it on how many hours you've put in and like the cost of materials.
Right.
And then with most galleries, they take a big cut of the price when it gets bought, but yeah, the artist sets the price.
No, that's got to feel very, very rewarding.
Yes, it was. I was very
so
excited.
proud. Yeah. So where did you learn how to do like this house technique?
Yeah, this I learned in middle school.
Okay. She's like, get with the program.
No, that's okay.
We're getting there.
So I haven't done it in a little while. So sorry if it's not quite exact to what you'd learn somewhere professionally.
No,
but,
you're good.
Yeah, this was just something I practiced in school and learned, and this is just kind of like the basics. And
Right.
I'm sure you've seen way more complicated versions of, architectural drawings and houses and things like that. It can get very complicated.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty simplified version of it all.
Love to hear that. Definitely love to hear that. I think my house is coming along, but it might have some structural integrity issues.
Hey, that's
but
okay.
it's okay. It's just the house needs to be turned into a home. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The house needs to be turned into a home. Yes.
Okay, kinda.
There you go.
We're
It's
getting
cool.
there.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
I'm gonna make my house red.
All right.
And maybe green too, who knows?
A nice Christmas house, maybe?
Exactly. All the warm weather's really just made me think, I could really go back and use some snow right now. So, yeah, don't kill me for that one.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
That is hot.
Yeah.
I know, I love the fall until I feel like the warm spring weather, and then I'm like, what was I even talking about?
Right, exactly.
It's just weeks like these where yesterday's beautiful, and then this weekend's gonna be cold, and you're just gonna be like, why? Please go back.
Exactly.
The weather just keeps teasing us. We never know what we're gonna get these days.
No, that's New York weather for you, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so are you actually from here? Or-
I'm from Rochester,
Okay.
so it's about 3.5 hours west.
Oh, okay.
But similar weather patterns and everything,
Right.
so I'm used to it.
Yeah, I'm from Connecticut. It's cold, but the snow just keeps on snowing here.
Yes, yes. It does not let up.
No. Have you met any artists by chance?
Like professionally?
Yeah.
I'm sure in passing, I think at that gallery show that I was in,
probably.
there were lots of people there
Right.
that I got to meet, and networking was a great place for that. And lots of the professors here, the head of the department, Professor Scott Nelson, or Scott Foster. He's a great artist. He's an amazing painter. So.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah, it's nice to see your professors work too, and have them inspire you.
Especially learning from someone who actually does this and been in the field with that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I feel like we're like on Rachel Ray or something.
I know, this is fun.
I think I am ready to show my finished product here.
Are you?
In about 1 second. Tiana, if you are too, we can give a grand reveal.
It's given.
Oh, beautiful.
I mean, that's more progress than I made.
Some dimension.
I mean, I've got some dimension. I think there was definitely a moment where there could have had to make a big save, but we got there. I mean, I'm happy with the results so far. I think a green wall would really do this wonders.
Yeah.
Would really.
I think we just have to do it one more time, and we'd be better at this.
Yeah, I think it's just a little
okay.
like rinse and repeat
First
action.
time, yeah, you guys did great for your
I mean,
first time.
yeah, you only had the whole house, and we had a garden built already, but you know.
She's quick.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So that is going to be it for all the time here. I will be definitely finishing my drawing off camera. But Mary, we want to thank you so much for having
Thank you guys.
taking the time out of your day to come here and teach us how to draw a house, because I for sure will be doing this the next time I'm boarding class.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I see
course,
some future
absolutely.
artists here.
Oh, stop. That's all you. That's all you.
When we come back, vending machines in the elevator? Learn more on what's fizzin'. Plus, we'll take you to the Black Student Union in this week's edition of Join the Club. And Mr. Siena Buttons will take campus by storm. That and more to look forward to on your week ahead. This week's Kirka Student of the Week has been chosen. Our Ethan Smith has their story.
On this edition of Kirka Student of the Week, we travel to Roger Bacon Hall, where Elena Cahill is working in the lab. Though Elena isn't researching your typical houseplant. No, Elena is studying leeches.
Basically what we're doing is we're using the model system of the leech to investigate a specific kind of voltage-gated potassium channel family called the EAG family. And this family has various subtypes, so what we're doing in our research is analyzing the physiological behavior of these subtypes and the morphological distribution of all of the channels.
Now that's a mouthful. I got a chance to go into the lab with Elena and even get a closer look at the leeches.
So here is Hirudo verbana, also known as the medicinal leech, which is what we use here as a model organism to study neurobiology in general, but we use the ganglion, which are part of the leech central nervous system, and we will dissect these out and do various experiments with them.
And just when you thought that was all she had on her plate, nope. Elena finds time to enjoy various hobbies outside of the lab.
I'm a big outdoors person, so I'm often taking a walk or hiking. I do a lot of woodworking. I do a lot of just miscellaneous crafts. That is, when I'm not studying.
And on top of all of that, she'll be attending graduate school after walking the stage in May.
So I'll be studying in Baltimore. It'll be a Master of Public Health program focusing in female sexual and reproductive health.
Whoa, now that looks like nothing but a bright future for our Kirka Student of the Week this week. But one has to wonder, what does Elena Cahill find to be the most outstanding thing she's experienced here at Siena College?
My favorite part by far is the professors, how kind they are and caring, and I haven't had a bad experience with a professor here, truly. And it just helps so much. Like, all of the professors are so intentional and so caring about what they're teaching and their field, and they really, really care a lot. And I think that that just helps to promote these really close relationships that just make the experience here at Siena so much better.
Congratulations to Elena for being awarded Kirka Student of the Week. We know she'll dream big and succeed even larger. Reporting for the Morning Brew, I'm Ethan Smith.
Looking for a club that is one of the biggest and most eventful at Siena? Joe Lemery has the story.
Today we're taking a look at the Black Student Union. I'm here right outside the Damietta Cross Cultural Center. And while this club has been around for a while, the club just continues to grow.
What I like most about BSU is that it's a community that allows students of all different cultures to come together, but predominantly for students of color that identify as Black. It's a great way for students to feel like they belong, get to feel like they fit in and they're not being questioned.
The club looks to promote activities that are relevant to ethnic minorities, and in particular, Black students.
We basically try and make a space, hold space pretty much for Black students on campus to come and meet other Black students on campus so they feel like they have a sense of belonging is really one of the main things we do. We hold a lot of weekly meetings in which we do like a lot of fun things, like of course like your regular clubs do, like bingo.
There's a lot of planning that goes on here at the BSU, especially for the upcoming Expose.
So Expose is our annual. We do it every spring, and the Black Student Union, along with the help of other affinity clubs in Damietta, are in charge of pretty much setting up this, which is pretty much a multicultural talent show is what we call it. Any student on campus can, of course, participate and show off their talents, whether it be singing, dancing. We have a lot of the dancing groups there, such as Bhangra and Chaotic Passion Dance Technique, and of course Solid Step, which is a step team that is closely associated with BSU. But yeah, it's basically a talent show. It's happening this Saturday at 8 in the SSU 240. We usually have a pretty good turnout, but it's of course good to see as many people there as we can. But yeah, it's pretty fun. It's a good time. It's, I think, around 2 hours, but it's always good performances. You get to see your friends either sing or dance on stage, so yeah.
Now, club leaders say the Black Student Union is open to all, regardless of race. They encourage new students to come in and join the club as often as possible. And the upcoming expose for the club will be happening Saturday, March 22nd at 8 p.m. right here at Siena College. For SCTV's Morning Brew, I'm Joe Lemery.
Welcome back to What's Fizzin'. Let's see what's fizzin'. Siena is for real giving tours to prospective students today. One hell of a day to do that. This place is bumping for real. I completely agree. You know, we have to keep up with the other schools, you know, push and pee, let's do this. The chairs and fire pit are outside Casey's again. The world is healing. I completely agree. Seasonal depression gone, and if it's not, the Siena Health Promotions office is always open. Next. As a freshman, I can say the Townies met every expectation I had for St. Patrick's Day this year. Shout out to the seniors for making it happen. I mean, hey, thank you. Actually, I probably had like nothing to do with that. I'm not really a good party planner, but I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Remember to fill out your March Madness brackets. You should obviously very much do that. It is almost over. I honestly just found out what March Madness was like a week ago. My professor said class is outside today because of how beautiful it is. Major effing W. I completely agree. As for me, I take online classes because I'm a homebody. This is your reminder to clean the lint screens. My dryer at home genuinely set on fire one time because of this, please. Well, then you're just dirty. No, I'm just playing. You should definitely clean those. It's a fire hazard. It was a crazy St. Patrick's Day weekend. Let's go to Tommy for some more.
Thanks, Tiana. Let's take a closer look at some of the incidents that may or may not have transponded last weekend. Starting off with a Lipton vending machine placed magnificently inside possibly what we can or possibly cannot say is an elevator. I don't know how many people were involved in this incident/operation to get said machine into said elevator, but that's a lot of weight, that's a lot of girth, and that's a lot of drinks. The next incident we had on our list happened to be what I can only imagine is a residential chair, a residential table, a residential chair, another residential chair, and then a residential big blue chair. So when you look at all of this wood, possibly debris that could be used for a bonfire of some sort, so you may or may not know, but according to my calculations, looking at the valuations of these damages, I'd say we're coming in at a number sort of close to a second-round draft pick that we would trade Ethan Smith for a copier for. And that's going to do it for today's episode of What's Fizzin'. If you have any submissions that you would like to submit for next week's episode of What's Fizzin', please be sure to send us a DM at the SienaCollege.tv Instagram. When we come back, we will take a look at what's coming next week at Siena College. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of this week's upcoming events.
Interested in going to Japan and walking along the footsteps of samurai? Siena's International Program and History Department are offering a once-in-a-lifetime trip. Learn all about it this Monday during free period at Kiernan Hall, room 116. And Friars Mark and Larry, along with Dr. Hawes, will be hosting an information session on spending Christmas in Italy. The sessions will be at the Francis Room in Heinz Hall Sunday and Wednesday.
Today during free period, the Colleges Against Cancer Club will be raising money with a bake sale at Nigro Plaza. There will also be a raffle upon joining a relay team. Be sure to check it out and support.
Class of 2025 graduation is now 57 days away. Siena is gearing up for the event with the annual champagne toast to celebrate their transition from student to alumni at the Grotto. Tickets are $25 with $5 of the registration fee considered a donation to the Siena class gift. Gold Dome donors can attend for free. To register, check your email or the Daily Digest.
Tickets are on sale for the Mr. Siena pageant, and the button sale is this Monday. Be sure to support your favorite contestant during free period at the SSU. Buttons are $3 each and all proceeds go to Habitat for Humanity, so pick up 1 or 6. If you can't make it Monday, there will be another sale on April 2nd.
For those that aren't graduating yet, you can speed up the process and take a class during the summer. To check out the courses, go to the Banner account, and for questions, email academicaffairs@siena.edu.
2025 is an election year for Albany County, and candidate Dorsey Appliers is hiring Siena students to help assist her political campaign. This position is available for all parties. If you are interested, reach out to a Dorsey Appliers field director at nestalittlejohn@gmail.com or email Dr. Tae Woo Gong for more information. That'll do it for us here at Morning Brew. Thank you for spending the time with us this morning.
We'll see you next Friday.